What kind of precedence does this case set, if at all, is set any?
Well, to my mind, I think what the precedent is set really is that the nation will not stand for, discrimination in terms of sex. That women or, whatever religion you are, whatever color or creed you are, or whatever belief you hold, cannot or will not be discriminated against. It also, in my mind, sets that, the era of arbitrariness in the NJC is gone. Because, it will have been very easy for the CJN to just say, okay, I remove her name from the list completely. Because she's the chairman of the NJC, and she might be able to rally the troops around her. But she said, I suspend this, and they called an emergency meeting of the NJC to attend specifically to that matter, which I think is good for due process. Let things be done in accordance with the law. Let people see that the due process has been followed. Yes, there was a petition against this woman, but the NJC decided that that petition holds no water. It is of no moment. It cannot prevent us from swearing her in, which is good.
But there are those who would think that before that swearing in, there are processes that they all had to go through.
Yes.
I mean, in the middle of going through those processes, is it that the petition did not come before any of those processes?
Well, the news, we don't know when, because I think we all this information came to us through the press. We don't know when that petition got to the NJC, but I will presume that owing to the fact that it was at a swearing in that this issue was raised, it must have arrived maybe just shortly before then. Because definitely if it had arrived during the scrutiny process, I'm sure it will have been addressed before they got to that stage.
Speaking about due process and understanding it and letting it follow through, if there's any institution that should understand it, it should be the Senate. They've got processes also.
Yes.
But they were the ones who jumped in, spoke up about this matter. Where does that then leave us?
The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. Their statement, I think, their statement ordering or directing the CJN to swear in the justice was, they overreached themselves, because clearly, there is separation of powers. That is one. They have no business to issue a directive to the justice arm of government. They cannot, the Senate cannot order the judiciary to do anything.
Can they move a motion asking her to?
They can't. Their motion, they can't, because that's why we have separation of powers.
Not even a resolution?
They have no powers to issue any directive to the judiciary. Not even the executive can issue a directive to the judiciary to do anything, except in cases where the Constitution gives the president that power.
So the principle of separation of powers strictly is enforceable in that circumstance?
It's enforceable. Just like you see many times when there are issues within Parliament and parties in Parliament rush to court, most times the court will refuse to intervene, because you have parliamentary sovereignty, you have separation of powers. So courts are reluctant to intervene in the internal affairs of Parliament for that same reason. So you hardly see a court stop Parliament from passing a bill.
But the thing is, with those kind of statements coming from Senate, because it was a whole session, if people don't listen to explanations like this, they will run with the impression that the CJN is deliberately refusing to swear in.
That's why I said, our nation is getting into a stage in which the mob mentality, in which the lynch mentality is taking siege. It's taking hold of us, because now people, if anything happens, people, rush to judgment. They don't want to give due process any place. The Senate, I mean, with all the experienced people there, I would have expected that even if they wanted to comment, they would have waited for the process to play out at the NJC before they make any comment, which that comment would only be of moral suasion anyway. There's no legal or binding force or effect.
Well, anyway, I think you said that much, especially when you had to say, well, this is one other matter we should be talking about now that we're looking at the Constitution. But with our last guest, before he left, we had to bring in the matter of corruption and how we've been able to go about that, how much of a fight we've given it, if there is at all. Now, let's talk about what's been going on lately. We'll take it from the presidential media charter, and we talked about the Halliburton case and now some other case with the EFCC. For some time, some say, well, looks like the body has gone to sleep, but looks like they're waking up from their slumber. What do you think about the fight against corruption?
Well, the fight against corruption really, I would say, is not. You cannot say that it's something that warms the heart or gladdens the heart, because corruption is still pervasive. It's like a cancer. It is eating deep, into the fabric of our society. It's the root, perhaps, of all the evil that bedevils our nation. It is there for everybody to see, and I think, and we would only be foolish, we would be acting like the ostrich, to say that we're winning the war against corruption. We are definitely not.
What would you like to see before you say, okay, we are on course in respect of winning this war?
Firstly, I would like to see convictions.
But we've seen some before in times past.
Well, let them show us the percentage of convictions. We still have governors who left, I think, in 2007 after serving their second terms, who were charged to court immediately after, whose cases have not even seen the light of the day. The will to prosecute them is not there. We have issues of where now, we have started to export our justice sector system. Because what do you have? Ibori, the ex-governor Ibori, was charged to court in Nigeria. A court absolved him of all the charges. Another court in the UK did our job for us.
But what does that tell us about our administration of justice here? Because a lot of these cases, even the FCC some time ago said, look, when you get to the court, it takes almost forever to take a plea, let alone conviction.
I will not lay the blame largely at the doorsteps of the court, though they take a part of the blame. I believe that the lack of the will, the lack of the zeal, the lack of the fire to really prosecute these people sincerely is the cause of the problem.
You say sincerely?
Yeah, because look, I don't want to believe that it will take any sincere prosecution from 2007 not to even have a conviction against one single governor. Apart from Governor Igbinedion that did a plea bargain, there has been no governor who has been convicted.